Welcome to Seasons. It's Lisa Asbell. I'm so excited to share with you guys. I have been enthralled with seasons, I don't know, I guess my whole life. And more, not just in the fall and the spring. I love all the seasons, but I love the change. But change is a part of that. But really, our seasons in life. And there's a lot of different analogies, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. And we're going to discover some of those ways. Originally, this was going to be a Zoom series, and I think it's real important for you guys to take notes because I decided it would be an audio because most of you really enjoy the audios more and it allows you to walk or exercise or just kind of be more mindless without watching something. But I do think for this series, there's going to be some pieces of it that you really want to write it down. You're going to want to write down these areas of life and the different seasons in life and the different analogies I'm going to give you. So that's just a reminder to always keep an idea journal close. Whether you're listening to a podcast, you're at the doctor's office, you're at work, review them weekly. Go back to that idea journal and review it weekly. At the end of the month, sit down and say, I wrote down 42 ideas that I thought would make sense for me somehow in my life to incorporate. Did I do it? How many of them? Carry them forward. I just score them. This is one I really think is smart. I really want to figure out how to implement this. I can't tell you how life-changing this is. Then the other thing I'll encourage you, just as another reminder, log into something positive every day. Never skip it. Whether it's about, faith, or whether it is about health or mental health or learning how to be happier or how to organize your home better or how to start a business. It doesn't matter. Just fill your mind with something positive every single day. I alternate. There are days I listen to more spiritual or faith things, and then there are days that I might listen to more business motivation, like on Monday mornings, and then often when I'm walking, a lot of time that's my prayer and meditation time. Depending on the mood I'm in, I might listen to something motivation or might listen to music, but log in every day. It'll change your life. There are things to understand about seasons in how it affects every area of your life. So not only do we have these seasons, we also have all these different areas of life. So you may say, family-wise, relationship-wise, I'm in a good season. Career-wise, I'm in a good season. Health-wise, I'm not in the best season. That helps you determine how to prioritize what you're working on. When you look at your health, your finances, your relationships, including your marriage, your children, whatever, your friend relationships. When you look at your contributions, are you serving somewhere? Are you tithing? Or, wherever you want to give, are you giving? Are you giving? Maybe it's in the well group or whatever. You're just giving back, right? So you've got all these areas of your life and you have seasons in each of those. I'm going to talk about all those things. So, boy, this is going to be a good one. Look for growth in all areas of your life. If you could follow this season's audio and you could follow the suggestions, this should be a course, really. It's going to be really good for you. And you could follow the suggestions on how to prioritize each thing in each season and go in 90 days, right? Just 90-day segments so you don't get, do we need a 1-year plan? Yes. Do we need a 3-year goal? Yes. But for most of us, 90 days at a time, a season to be able to work through. This is going to be so exciting. So let me jump into it. First of all, the purpose of this series is to help you understand the seasons from a couple of different ways to look at it and how to thrive in every season and how to take that learning. And when I say thrive, I mean apply it to your life so that you live a life of health, happiness, and then one of my favorite phrases, intentional living, or living an intentional life. We all, for the most part, understand health and happiness, or, that's physical health, mental well-being, physical well-being. Our bodies are in fairly good shape. Our minds are in fairly good shape. We're able to have some happiness and joy and live in the moment and appreciate all the beauty around us and turn out all the negative. But then there's the other step of that too, and it all goes together really. And it's an intentional life. It's priority and purpose focused. That to me is what living an intentional life is. It's that you're not just going through life and waking up one day and you're 55 and fat. And maybe you're already 55 and fat, like me. I always say to my grandchildren, no, we are not fat. We have fat. Everybody has fat. Some have a surplus. But living that intentional life, knowing where you're going with a plan to get there, and using the analogy of the seasons to do that. There are priorities in all areas of life, and this is where I want you to take out a pen now, and I want you to be able to write these areas down. We're going to talk about these. There's going to be more programs on goals and all these other areas of life to help you and help me, help us all excel in all areas of life. And we're going to use the seasons analogies, the 90-day idea, to accomplish that in this series. So if I think about priorities and goals, okay, if I'm going to live an intentional life, I'm knowing where I'm going. I'm going to use the seasons as in 90 days to write some goals and look at the areas. Look at the area that really is the most concerning. So here they are. There's health. There's relationships. There's your spiritual life. There's your financial area of life. And then there's your career area of life. Okay? Part of that, there's also your contribution. That's the last one, your contribution, meaning you're giving back, you're tithing, your community service, you're, helping out the elderly, whatever it is, you're giving in life, you're participating in the well, the well community, you're a coach there or a leader there, or whatever it is, you're contributing, okay? So look at all of those areas of your life, your health, your relationships, your spiritual life, your contribution, your finances, your career. Where do you need some help? In which area of those life? What stands out to be, this has got to be my focus now? In this season, you might want to do work in all of them. I have goals for all of them. My goal is to improve my core strength with no injuries and my health for the next season. My relationships, continued growth, focus on learning how to be a better wife, how to communicate better in relationships, continuing to plan the visits with my grandchildren. So important to me. My faith, spiritual growth, patience, listening, learning, all of those are goals. Monthly involvement in the community, giving is my contribution goal. Finances, working more diligent with the financial planner, okay? Learning, growing, okay? Career, focus, we have our CEO has a plan, and focusing on that is my goal, is my priority over the next 90 days. So as we think about seasons, also use it to think about goals and priorities. You're going to hear a lot more about goals and priorities and in other programs that will be available. So if in each season our focus is health, happiness, and intentional living, we need priorities to do that. So let's talk for just a few minutes about intentional living and what I mean when I say that. To me, it starts with awareness. Who am I? What is my purpose? What are my priorities in this season in each of these areas of my life? My health, my career. You only need one or two. Just pick one or two that are very simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. Okay? What are my priorities in in this season, the next 90 days of each area of my life? What helps me to be my best self? When I plan and eat healthy, I'm better. When I make lists and I cross the list off, I'm better. When I make my bed and I get my housework done, I'm telling you, these little daily routines that I do, to me, are intentional living. I live intentionally with purpose and a routine, and I'm knowing where I'm going. Okay? That's my idea of a well-lived, intentional life. Clear priorities and goals. That's not up for it's not a suggestion. It's not up for a discussion, my daddy used to say. That is not up for discussion. Okay? Clear priorities and goals. If you don't know what that is, what's the purpose? What's the point? You might not know your life's purpose. Maybe it's to inspire millions. Maybe it's to take care of your grandchildren. Maybe it's to help your aging parents right now. Maybe it is to, I don't know, maybe it is to teach and inspire people through teaching, or to be a caregiver like a nurse, or maybe it's to support your husband and help grow a business. I don't know. But you need to know. And you don't have to see the whole staircase. You don't have to know all the steps. Focus on this next season. I don't care when you listen to this. It could be in the spring, the fall, the winter. We're going to talk about those and what it means emotionally in some of those seasons. But you got to know where you're going. You got to have clear priorities and goals. You'll hear more about that. Releasing negative thoughts, behaviors, and actions. This is a big one. You cannot live an intentional life if you are living on emotion. That's emotional living, and it wrecks us. It causes you to overindulge. It causes you to be obese. It causes you to drink too much. It causes you to have confrontation. It causes you to create all kinds of strife and spinning plates. And then you have the thought that leads to a behavior. You have a feeling that leads to a thought. I mean, intentional living, when you are focused and you know where you're going and you got your priorities in order, it helps you to release those negative thoughts. You don't have to constantly beat yourself up. You know, intentional living is not perfection living. It'll never be perfect. You do eat too much. You might have too many cocktails. You might have had a little splurge shopping. You probably didn't align with your finances. Maybe you had a stumble in your career. Maybe you're not where you thought you would be in this season of life. All of those are negative thoughts. And the only way to release that is to release the past and be very clear in the present about where you're headed. You don't have to see the whole step. You just need to know the next 90 days. And more importantly from that, you need to just know the next best right decision. So, awareness, knowing where you're going, clear priorities, getting rid of those negative thoughts, and here it is. And some of you guys that have taken the self-sabotage course, this is going to ring your bell. Declutter everything. Declutter. Simplify your life. Difficult, cluttered, chaotic living and intentional living do not go together. Declutter everything. Your head, your thoughts, your room. Start with your room. Start with your nightstand. Start with the thing closest to your bed. Start there. Declutter your room, your closets, your drawers. I don't care. If you don't need it, you haven't used it for 6 months, get rid of it. The more that I organize my life, the more it all comes together. I mean, to me, intentional living is the key to navigating all the seasons in all the areas of your life. I hope you've enjoyed this first session. I'm going to come back and then we're going to talk about the seasons.